everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I'm gonna go through the Get to Know Me FFXIV thing that was going around on Twitter recently. I'll show it off like over here. It's just a thing with like 29 questions. It was supposed to be like for every like you answer one question. And I was like, I'm just gonna make a video and answer all the questions. So yeah, we're gonna go through those 29 questions. Some of them I don't really have much of an answer for, but we'll see what I can put together. Let's get into this. So the first question is, what is your character name? My main character's name is Meowlo Ren Eclipse. She used to just be Meowlo Ren, and I think a long time ago she started as Halo Ren, but I'm not even sure. She might have just started as Meowlo Ren. But yeah, so Meowlo Ren Eclipse. I play on the Aether Data Center on Siren. I think I started on Primal. I don't know. My first server was Exodus, which I think is Crystal now. I don't know where it ended up. My favorite class right now, I think it's Summoner in terms of what I like to play. My favorite like overarching class over all the expansions has been Light Mage. It's just kind of been like my baby class, but I haven't really felt like healing recently for the last expansion and a half, so I've been enjoying the new Summoner. And I also like Bard for things like PvP, but Summoner and White Mage I think are like my top two. Favorite expansion? This one's tough. I think I have to say Shadowbringers. Endwalker was like a beautiful capstone, but I think Shadowbringers is kind of where it really was like, oh shit is happening. Like, this is emotional. I'm like so sad. I think I sped through Heavensward and Stormblood back in the day. So I'm replaying those and I'm enjoying it, and I think they're also emotional, but I think Shadowbringers was the one where a lot of my personal favorite things really like came together and like were like a real big punch there, and I really like it. Number 5 is favorite Scion. I don't know if this is a controversial opinion, but I think my favorite Scion is gonna be Alphino. I know everybody finds him like super annoying in A Realm Reborn. I use the term everybody very loosely here as a disclaimer. I find a lot of people saying that like Alizé is their favorite, or like Y'shtola, but I really love Alphino. I feel like he grows along with you as the player. Like, he to me comes across as like the stereotypical RPG like protagonist. He's like all gung-ho and he's like, we're gonna do these great things, and then he has to realize that, you know, you can't always do these great things. They don't always work out for you, and then he like grows from there. And especially at the end of the Shadowbringers into Endwalker patches, he has this like huge moment where he's just like, we've come this far, like, and it's just like this huge, to me it's like a really big, like, I don't want to say a depression allegory because I think it's pretty much, it is like really big like depression feels there, because he's like, what have we even accomplished? And people are like, well, we've come this far, and that's Alphino there. And I just really love Alphino. I love Alizé and Y'shtola, and I also really love Graha, but he's like a newer Scion, so I don't feel like I'm trying to pick from like the original ones, you know. Current glam, well, I'm a Lalafell right now, so it's a little bit different than usual, but I'll put up on screen here like a couple of, oh, you can see me right now, perfect timing. That's my gatherer glam at the moment. But yeah, I'll put up some pictures or video of my current glams that I'm rocking. My favorite dye, soot black dye. I always have a stack of them on me because they're cheap and they're pretty decent. Cubby! Oh my god. My biggest accomplishment, well, if you would ask my like achievements by rarity, it's doing like 95 Fisher leaves. Currently I'm working on doing every leave in the game, and I'm stuck at 95 Fisher leaves until I can accrue a bunch of leaves to do 5 of the big ones. But I don't really know. I don't know. We're just gonna go with that. We're just gonna go with the Fisher leaves and the botanist leaves, because those are my two rarest achievements apparently, is doing every botanist leaf and every Fisher leaf. Favorite song? I think like one of my favorite songs is Wayward Daughter, the song from the Tsukayumi. I was like, so I don't know why her name just escaped me. I already had issues with that kind of stuff, and then after getting COVID, it's even worse. But yeah, Tsukiyomi, that's one of my favorite songs ever, the Wayward Daughter song. I think that's the final phase music, and it's just beautiful and wonderful. I think Endwalker hit us with some good ones, but Wayward Daughter is probably my like long-term favorite one. Best zone. Ooh, this one's really tough. I feel like I could do a best zone for expansion, but anytime somebody asks me this, I say the Azam Step. There's just something that I really love about the like rolling green hills and just how open it is. I think it's really beautiful, especially if you can get there on like a sunny day, which hopefully I'll have footage rolling over me speaking of like how beautiful it is. Otherwise, I just love most shroud zones and like Raktika, because I'm a big fan of foresty, naturey zones. Favorite city-state? Rolling with that, it would be Gridania. All of my characters generally start in Gridania, unless I feel like starting as an Arcanist. But I love Gridania. I love Kani-Senna. I don't care what anybody says. I love Kani-Senna. And I just love Gridania. And the adders, we're adders, not batters, okay? Best dungeon. This one, I said on Twitter, I have no real strong feelings towards any dungeons. I can't say, there are some I really don't like, but in terms of best dungeon, I think I'm gonna have to go with Amara, just for like the story part, like the story hits that it gets you with. Or Ktysis, because running that with the NPCs that you can run it with when it becomes like the story beat, that's so good. That's so good. Okay. Crafting or gathering? Definitely gathering. I have no crafting bone in my body. I do not know how to expert craft. When I did the blue, what are they called? The like blue sparkly crafting relics from Shadowbringers. They're like dragon something. When I did all of those, I used so many more mats than I needed to, purely because I didn't know how to expert craft. So I just found a macro that would do it for me, but it wouldn't do it to like the ideal amount. So I had to just do so many of them to get what people who actually know how to expert craft could get. And I keep joking about it, but Arnon is a super crafter. He has the Indefatigable title. I want that title, but I don't know how to expert craft, and so I'm like, I'm gonna like I'm gonna share my screen and you're gonna walk me through crafting these things so that I can do this. Or when he visits in November, he's gonna sit with me at my computer and teach me how to expert craft, because I don't know how to do it, and I kind of need to learn, especially since I do want to work towards getting like the firmament mount and everything. But what's holding me back is I don't know how to expert craft. I just don't. So I'm the gatherer for sure. Way easier for me. Favorite raid? Okay, favorite raid. I'm not a raider. I'm just gonna come out and say that. I really want to replay through Coils because I feel like I missed a lot of story there. So I can't say Coils is my favorite. Definitely not Heaven's Word, and definitely not. So right now I'm going through the 8-mans. It's definitely not Heaven's Word. It's definitely not the Stormblood 8-mans. I didn't really, I don't know, to me it didn't feel like, I feel like that was like a nostalgia trip for everybody who was a big fan of the series, but for somebody like me who's never played them, I was like, okay, I don't know who any of these guys are. And then I did like Shadowbringers in terms of like, it was fun to revisit the primals and stuff, I guess, and the music was a bunch of bops. But in terms of 8-mans, I do think that Pandemonium is my favorite so far, just in terms of like lore, characters, music, and bosses. Although I haven't done Savage for second tier, it looks like it's making everybody miserable, and so I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. In terms of 24 mans, I think either Crystal Tower or the mock raids. Maybe that's controversial. I know everybody hates Crystal Tower, but I love the Crystal Tower raids. Anytime I get them in roulette, I'm happy, except for World of Darkness sometimes, because that one can still be a struggle. And I still have group swipe at the first boss of LOA, so my macro for running to your pads is always on my bar. My best memory? Best memory? That one's tough because I have very little memory of anything. I don't really retain things very well. This feels like a job interview. My best memory in Final Fantasy. I don't know. I can't really think of anything in particular. I could say the Arna and I getting eternally bonded, but that was just kind of like a jokey thing where I was like, I didn't have like any vows or anything. I was just like, we're doing this for screenshots. So it was like an hour of me taking screenshots. But I think one of my favorite memories that is just like super vague, but I know that it happened, is probably like clearing P3 Savage with parts of my like last raid group. Because we worked as a raid group for so long on that tier. And so like it was kind of like our last week together, and some of us just went off and cleared it. And it felt really nice to actually clear it with people in the group and stuff. And then at least I never really went back to running stuff with the group. Like I kind of, I don't work well with raid schedules, and so I just didn't ever go back to it. But it was a really nice like final memory for that group. And now I think a bunch of them transferred to a different data center. Although I can go there now. I can go see them now. My favorite primal, immediately I want to say Shiva. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say Shiva for the lore bits, but also like original, like Garuda, just because sexy bird lady, I mean. Which patch did I start in? I started pre Heaven's Word. So I'm gonna guess it was like 2.5, 2.4, something like that. Probably like 2.5, 2.55, one of those. Because it wasn't too long before Heaven's Word. I think I started... I'd have to go back and look. Just looking at my current character's achievements, I think it was like I started in a couple months before Heaven's Word, but I had another character before that I just abandoned when I found out that I had friends on a different server. So it was like 2.5, 2.55, maybe 2.56 at the latest. My current FC is just like kind of a personal FC. It's me and Arden and a bunch of alts. My last FC kind of like dissipated, and some of them moved around to different data centers, and I was just kind of like, I'm really awkward in game. I don't really do well with meeting new people or carrying conversations and stuff. So I was like, I just want my own FC because I want to be able to manage the submersibles and stuff like that, and manage my own buffs. So I just made my own FC. My favorite villain, oh man, this is so hard. I love Emmett and I love Xenos. I'm enjoying that we're getting more La Habrea lore. He's being like so today. I think my favorite villain has to be like, I'm gonna have to say Elidibus. Like, as much as I love like Emmett and Xenos in them, I think in terms of like a villain arc, I think it would be Elidibus. Yeah, I think it's Elidibus because just like the whole like it's not a cutscene, it's an instance you go through where he shows you like the people that you're like the people that you see in Amra, like they're reflections, not the actual reflections, but like essentially like walking you through your journey and like what he's trying to do and everything. And now we're like interacting with him in Pandemonium. 5.3 just kills me every time. And yeah, I love a limitless. Favorite limit break? This one's tough. I really like Summoner. I have like this theory regarding Summoner with the Summoner LB with like my character when I think about writing like fanfics. Where it like leaves burn marks or something like that. Because you're like channeling Bahamut through yourself. So I think I would have to say that. I never ever see that one. Very rarely. The only time I actually get to do it in Sephiroth, but I don't want to do it in Sephiroth. I don't want to be the LB'er. But otherwise I really like the Bard and Machinist ones. I like those a lot. Those are fun ones. My starting class, well, my very first character, who is still alive on Hyperion, actually, she was a Lancer. And then when I swapped to my real character, when I swapped to Mialo, I think I went White Mage. I think I went Conjurer because I wanted the Unicorn mount. I either went Conjurer or Bard, but I'm pretty sure I was Conjurer. I have to go back and check the screenshots. My AFK spot is my house. I just AFK at my house, generally. If I'm gonna AFK anywhere where other people are... Oh god, it's definitely not Limsa. I don't like to AFK in Limsa. It's too noisy there. Yeah, generally just my house, because I put a lot of effort into it and I want to enjoy it. How much gil do I have? I think right now I only have a little bit over 3 mil, like, carrying around me. We have a lot of gil in our FC chest, but I only have about 3 mil. I don't make a lot of money, and I just dumped a bunch on fish yesterday. Like, probably half a mil on fish. Do I raid the current tier? Nope, I do not. It looks like people are unhappy, and I'm not really mentally ready for that. Favorite minion? I love Eddie Paisa and my Amaro, my baby Amaro. Favorite mount? My regular Amaro. I love my Amaro mount. So cute. Favorite relic? I think the Bard Lux. I think that's one of the best relics in the game. Or the Summoner Lux, also very good. I'm a big fan of most of the Luxes. I think those might be my favorite, like, overarching relic group is the Heavensward ones. And also that's my favorite relic process is the Heavensward ones. But the Ninja, what is it? The Ninja Zeta, pretty good. I don't know, I have I hate all Shadowbringers ones. No, I hate all Stormblood ones. Shadowbringers were nice initially for me, but over time I kind of grew out of love with them. But I do really like the Paladin Shadowbringers one. Pink little lightsaber. I'm really excited to see the next group of them. If you don't know, most of what I do in game is like relic related. I've been taking a little bit of a break because I only have 3 weapons left to do books for, and I like to take a break every time I finish one. Which class would I want to see added next? Oh, I don't know. I kind of hope... I've seen people like Mr. Happy say that they think that they're gonna move towards just releasing 1 job per expansion, and fingers crossed, I really do kind of hope that that's what they do. I really hope going forward they just do 1 job for expansion for a lot of reasons. One, just because the job bloat is getting pretty high, I think. And 2, because part of me, stupidly like a clown, thinks that maybe if they just did 1 job per expansion, they could focus on like releasing more weapons when they release it. Like, I personally don't think we're ever really going to get old trial weapons released for new jobs, but can we at least get Titania ones, please? Can you imagine, like, Sage Titania weapons? How pretty they would be? Oh my god. So, also, as somebody who, like, does a lot of leveling and stuff, don't make me do 2 jobs in an expansion. So I think what I want them to add next is another caster, I think, because we're already struggling, I feel, with balancing the tanks and the healers, so I'm kind of like, just leave them alone for an expansion. And like the only melee they could add is something to go with ninja, I feel. Like they could add another one to use that gear set, because that's ninja still has their own gear set. But like we just got, last expansion was a healer and a melee. So I'm like, okay, can we either get a different ranged physical, but at the same time I feel like they're struggling with balancing the ranged physicals that we do have a little bit. I don't know, Machinist is, everybody's complaining about Machinist, but I have no idea how to play Machinist, so I don't really know what's going on over there. So for me, part of me hopes they add another caster or a ranged physical. And I don't know enough about Final Fantasy to be able to say which one that I would want that to be. I don't know anything. So, I don't know, just something like that I think would be cool. One feature / content that I would want added to the game, are we talking like quality of life or just like overall? Because there's a lot of quality of life stuff I would like. I wish I could remember the one I was thinking about yesterday. I was like, man, if only they would add like this to it. That would be so nice. I think I would like more minimal UI options, like minimalistic UI options. On my archive character, I've been working a lot with like macros and just like hiding UI elements to make it look a little bit cleaner. I wish there was a little bit more options with like simplifying things a little bit more. But I don't know, there are things I would like added to the game, but I can't think of them like right now. Of course, that's how it always goes. Is there anything you guys want added to the game? I don't know. I cannot think of anything. One thing I would like them to do is try somehow to teach newer players not to hard queue through the duty finder for old extremes. I know this is like an NA data center thing where we don't go through the duty finder for those. But I wish that there was like a way to teach new players that like, hey, if your queue for this is 3 hours long, it might be because on this data center we tend to go through the party finder instead of the duty finder. But I don't really know how you teach somebody that, you know? I don't know. But if they could figure that out, that would be really cool. Because I'm terrified of mentor roulettes, getting into a synced Titan or something. I haven't done synced Titan since before Heaven's Word. So, I would be just as bad as them, probably. Or just as lost. Maybe not bad. But, yeah. Alright, that was the last question. There was only 29 questions. This recording went a little bit longer than I wanted it to go. I have to go eat dinner. But, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to seal this thing. I'll link maybe a copy of the image below. I don't know. I have to find one with a URL that isn't like a nightmare in order to do that. But if I did, it's below. If I didn't, just Google "get to know me" FFXIV. That's like the first like thing that pops up. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate you for watching this. I hope you guys are having a good time. It's almost spooky season. I might try to do some scary video type thing, scary game videos. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you are so inclined. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you want to answer any of these questions. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!